Yo, what's up? So, yesterday I talked about Steam banning NFTs. So, today we're going to talk about Epic Games welcoming them. So, sit back, buckle in, because we're going to talk about this Kotaku article. I know we all love Kotaku and their top tier takes on everything. But let's read through, see what it says, and we'll just talk about the NFT stuff in general. Like basically what we did yesterday, but this time it's about Epic Games instead of Steam. So, Epic Games Store will welcome NFT games after Steam bans them. Tim Sweeney once said NFTs were tangled up with an intractable mix of scams. But now, this is undeniable. I mean, I don't know if there's been an industry in recent years that's had this many scams come out, except for like just general MLM stuff, I guess. But that's not really an industry. That's kind of like a tactic that people broadly apply to all industries. So I'd say, yeah, crypto and NFTs. I guess they're both blockchain. Any blockchain technology really has had a absurd amount of scams. Go watch any CoffeeZilla video, pretty much talking about the scams of NFTs and crypto. So Epic Games and its CEO Tim Sweeney are open to letting games that use blockchain technology and NFTs onto its PC store, even as NFTs continue to be criticized for being a giant planet burning scam filled with grifters. Okay, so this is under news. I hate that Kotaku does this. They just put the most like one-sided kind of dialogue in here always for things that they call news. Like this would be one thing if it was opinion, but it's not. It's quote unquote news. Anyway, it's true that cryptocurrency and most blockchain things, especially how they're done now, due to the massive power consumption that they uh, is needed to create and mine for them and trade them and stuff like that, is causing problems with the planet. And filled with grifters. You could argue that the scams, those people are grifters, of course, but that's not all NFTs are, okay? NFTs can, let's talk about at least one positive that NFTs have for people is that when in the past, if you were an artist and you created a piece of art, you could like sell that piece of art and people couldn't really copy it, or I guess they could photocopy it, but we all know that wasn't really the same thing, right? Like you could tell, especially if there's like paint and brush marks on the canvas, it was more authentic. So artists could make a lot more money selling their stuff because they were truly one of a kind, authentic pieces. But now, if you're a digital artist, it's very hard to prevent people from stealing your stuff. In fact, it's impossible, right? People can, because since it's all like a image file or a move file or an MP4 file or whatever file that you're creating your artwork with, it can be replicated. It can be copied. Okay. And so for an artist, obviously for the consumer, that's good. But for the artist, that means that they sell their thing once and it's essentially that's all they can get for it, right? Well, with NFTs, they can actually create a limited number that are truly authentic and the rest can just live out there doing whatever. That is one argument I've heard that I think is pretty good in favor of NFTs, right? So NFT, the idea in the industry isn't all bad. It's just that it's a new emerging technology and the ideas are new. So of course, people don't have a full understanding of them. Laws haven't caught up, so people are using them to scam other people. I'm sure it's been like this for all other industries in general. Like there's been like scams in the past of people falsely selling like the Golden Gate Bridge, for example. It's not like, oh, guess we got to get rid of bridges, right? No. Relax, talk about the technology as a tool and admit that there are bad users and good users of the tool. And I gave the example yesterday of how blockchain technology can be used to help more efficiently spread out energy in varying systems and stuff like that. So, of course, there's another practical use. So, this follows Valve's decision to remove and ban all games that utilize NFTs and blockchain technology. It also follows earlier statement from Epic CEO, which said Epic wouldn't touch NFTs due to scams. Now, I said this yesterday, and I'm going to say it again, that there is a space where if a game publisher, or I guess in this case, it would be like a game marketplace, if they have the appropriate checks in place to look at the game itself, look at how the NFTs are implemented, look at how the blockchain is running and have some kind of verifiable backend that these people aren't going to be do anything like scammy or as much as is reasonable, really, possibly to the same standard that we have for in-game purchases today, then I don't think that there's a problem having NFTs in games. The only thing is creating the infrastructure and the team and the knowledge to check for stuff like that is going to be very, very hard. And I don't know if that's what Epic is going to do here, but let's find out. Epic Games told The Verge that although there might be some limitations, it is open to working with devs who want to use blockchain technology, NFTs, and cryptocurrencies in games that could appear in the publisher's digital storefront. Epic CEO Tim Sweeney tweeted a statement following The Verge's publication of a story about his company's interest in allowing NFT tech on its storefront, stating that the Epic Game Store will welcome games that make use of blockchain tech provided they follow the relevant laws, disclose their terms, and are age rated by an appropriate group. Now, this is important. So, if they follow relevant laws, I mean, that's obviously true. Any game, like, I don't think that was ever up for discussion, right? Like, that a game doesn't follow relevant laws. Okay, so fine. Disclose their terms. Now, in my opinion, I think it should go a little bit further. They need to be very transparent with how these NFTs affect currently or will affect, and if they renege on that ever, then they should be removed from the marketplace. So, like, let's say they're like, these NFTs will only ever be cosmetic, and then in a year they release an NFT that gives you some kind of actual in-game bonus, removed from the marketplace. That's my opinion. And are age rated by an appropriate group. Okay, so age rated, if you're going to be gambling on NFTs, probably 18 plus. We can read the tweet. Epic Store will welcome games that make use of blockchain tech, provided they follow the red. This is exactly what we read. Though Epic's not using crypto in our games, we welcome innovation in the areas of technology and finance. Okay, fine. People quickly pointed out that this seemed to directly contradict statements from Sweeney released via Twitter last month. In those earlier tweets, the CEO said that Epic wouldn't touch NFTs because the whole field is currently tangled up with an intractable mix of scams, interesting decentralized tech foundations, and scams. Okay, so yeah, if this is what was said, like they're not going to touch it, then I don't know why he would go back on that now, but whatever. Now, a few weeks later, it seems Epic and its CEO are actually totally open to NFTs, but don't worry, Sweeney had an explanation for this contradiction. Not a good explanation, mind you. Okay, so very subjective journalism. Good job. It's been a couple week. Why the change? So his thing says we aren't touching NFTs, so that is what it said, that they're not actually going to touch it. Here's part of a thread on the distinctions we make between Epic as a game developer and Epic as a provider of technology and services to others. For the games we make, we aspire to adopt best practices in many areas like this. Where we serve other developers, we don't seek to impose creative and technical decisions on those customers. When a company gives itself that power, the temptation to misuse it pervades everything. Okay, so basically, we want to use best practices ourselves, but we can't force other companies to follow best practices. I mean, you literally could, because you, one, have a game engine that you could not give to people who don't follow specific practices. That's completely reasonable. And two, if you're talking about putting them on your marketplace, then you could just not put it on your marketplace. I don't think it pervades, because like you wouldn't say that. There's no way that he actually believes this, right? Because he must have some kind of level of discretion for what he puts on his marketplace, right? Like he wouldn't put anything on his marketplace that says promotes terrorism. I doubt he would do something like that. So maybe he would. Maybe I'm just wrong. I just don't think that's true. According to Sweeney, he and Epic make a distinction. Yeah, we already read that. Does this make sense? Not really. I mean, kinda, I guess. I already explained why I don't like it, but let's see what they say. Seems like Sweeney wants to have his NFT cake and eat it too. And while it is true that he has openly criticized NFTs and blockchain technology on Twitter, I don't think he criticized either of those things. I think he criticized the people scamming with them. So if you think that's a criticism of the entire market or of the entire technology, then fine. But I think you just misunderstand what this technology even is then. That doesn't change the fact that the company he is a CEO of is still openly down to let NFT infused games onto their storefront. It does almost feel like a case of Epic wanting to do what Valve won't as a publisher, as the publisher continues to compete with Steam in every way possible. Yeah, this statement means nothing. They're literally doing the opposite. Yes, thank you for stating something we already read. And while I'm happy to see Steam facing competition, and I think the last year or so has already shown the value of said competition, like Valve improving Steam more than usual, I don't think Epic needs to carry the torch. But you like, where do you want the competition then? You want there to be some competition, but no competition. Each company is going to do what they think is best for their business. That's just straight up. So if Tim Sweeney thinks that this is the best for his business, then he's going to do that, or whoever's in charge of these decisions. I imagine he is, since he's the CEO. But perhaps he, sent that to someone else to make the decision. So in that case, there are two companies that are going to do their own things, and we're going to see. This is actually perfect for NFTs because now we can see how NFTs translate onto both stores. Did it actually, is it actually just going to completely fuck up the Epic store and now it's only going to be Steam, or is it going to be fine? I bet it's probably going to be fine. I don't think that this is going to like ruin the Epic store or anything like that. So relax a little bit. But let me know what you think. Is Tim Sweeney a hypocrite here and lying and just wants money and this is stupid and NFTs are going to ruin the Epic store? Or is it going to probably not matter that much because not very many games are going to do that? And maybe they will follow through with some of these things about how they're going to make sure that these things aren't necessarily predatory. I guess they didn't really say that. They said that as long as they follow laws, disclose their terms, and age rated. But I imagine they're going to have something in place to make sure that these things aren't too predatory in their implementation of NFTs. Let me know what you think down in the comments how this is actually going to play out. In my opinion, I think it's going to be fine. I think that the Epic Store will probably, if it has any problems, it'll probably shut it down right away, honestly. But I don't think it'll have many problems. And I think that we'll just see Steam do fine without NFTs and Epic Store do fine with NFTs. So, yeah, that's where I stand. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace.